now doesn't exist. It never did. Right now, and I use that phrase ironically, you think you're reading this sentence in the present moment. You believe there's a universal now that connects you to everything happening simultaneously across the universe. But here's the truth that will demolish your understanding of time itself. There is no universal present, no cosmic clock, no shared now that synchronizes reality. Einstein discovered this over a century ago. Feynman spent decades explaining why it breaks our brains, and the implications are so disturbing that most people refuse to accept them. What you experience as now is a local illusion created by your motion through spacetime. The person sitting next to you lives in a slightly different now than you do, and someone on a planet orbiting a distant star, their now might be your past or your future. So why can't you travel to yesterday? The answer will blow your mind. You can't go backward in time for the same reason spilled coffee doesn't spontaneously jump back into your cup. Think about that coffee right now. When you spill it, the liquid spreads across your desk in chaotic directions. Every molecule scatters randomly. Now imagine playing this in reverse. Every single coffee molecule would have to perfectly coordinate to flow backward into your cup. Is this impossible? No, it's just overwhelmingly unlikely. Feynman calculated this in his statistical mechanics lectures. The probability is astronomically small. It would take longer than the age of the universe. But here's the kicker. If it did happen, it would follow physics perfectly. No rules would be broken. This leads to Feynman's insight from the character of physical law. Time's arrow isn't built into physics. It's built into probability. Let me show you with a thought experiment. Imagine a perfect video of any physical event, a falling apple, colliding balls. Play it in reverse. At the microscopic level, every atom still obeys fundamental laws. Newton's laws work, Maxwell's equations work, quantum mechanics works. You immediately know it's running backward because the forward direction shows one organized state becoming many disorganized states. The backward direction shows many disorganized states spontaneously organizing into perfection. One coffee cup becoming billions of scattered molecules. Probable. Billions of scattered molecules spontaneously forming one coffee cup. Technically possible, practically impossible. As Feynman explained in 6 Easy Pieces, this is the second law of thermodynamics. Entropy always increases in isolated systems. But entropy isn't mysterious, it's just disorder. And disorder increases because there are vastly more ways to be disordered than ordered. Shuffle a deck of cards. How many arrangements? About 8, followed by 67 zeros, more than atoms in the observable universe. How many represent perfect order? Just dozens. Random shuffling guarantees disorder, not because there's a law against order, but because disorder vastly outnumbers order. This is why rooms get messy but never spontaneously clean themselves. Why ice cubes melt but never form in warm water. Why you age but never get younger. Not because time flows forward, because order becoming disorder is overwhelmingly more probable than the reverse. Now here's where things get mind-bending. Feynman realized the arrow of time isn't about time, it's about information. When you remember the past, you access traces of previous states, photos, recordings, scars, memories. These exist because the past had lower entropy than now. Why don't you remember the future? Because the future has higher entropy. Information about future states hasn't been recorded in low entropy traces yet. Your brain evolved to extract information from entropy gradients. You experience time flow because consciousness rides the wave of increasing entropy. In a universe where entropy decreased, conscious beings would remember what you call the future and be uncertain about what you call the past. Time's direction isn't written in physics, it's written in information structure itself. But we're not done. This leads to the most disturbing consequence. If time's arrow is just increasing entropy, what happens in a perfectly ordered universe? Feynman explored this in computation lectures. In a completely deterministic universe with perfect information, there would be no arrow of time. Past and future would be equally accessible. Time travel wouldn't be forbidden, it would be meaningless. You can't travel to the past because the past had lower entropy than now. Information about past states has been scrambled by billions of molecular interactions. But theoretically, if you could precisely reverse every particle's motion in the universe, time would run backward. Not metaphorically, literally. You would unscramble the information defining temporal sequence. Maxwell's demon, a thought experiment Feynman loved, illustrates this. An intelligent being with complete molecular information could sort molecules by speed, effectively reversing entropy and time's arrow. Here's what breaks your brain. Time travel to the past isn't forbidden by physics, it's forbidden by information theory. Quantum mechanics adds another twist. Feynman's path integral formulation shows particles actually sample all possible histories, including ones moving backward in time. At the quantum level, there's no clear temporal sequence. Cause and effect become fuzzy. Time's arrow emerges only when you average billions of quantum possibilities. You are made of particles constantly violating temporal sequence at microscopic scales. The you experiencing linear time is a macroscopic illusion, a pattern emerging from countless microscopic violations of time's arrow. So what does this mean for everything you experience? You think you're moving forward through time at 1 second per second, but you're not moving through time at all. Instead, you exist in a configuration space of possible states. Your consciousness tracks the path through this space corresponding to increasing entropy. What you call memory is accessing information encoded in lower entropy past configurations. What you call aging is biological systems moving toward higher entropy states. Time's flow isn't time flowing, it's consciousness surfing the entropy wave from order toward disorder. You experience temporal sequence because your brain evolved to extract useful information from entropy gradients. Time's arrow points where information processing is maximized. Let's return to where we started. Now doesn't exist. Does that make sense? There's no universal present connecting distant events. What you call now is your local reference frame sliced through four-dimensional space-time. Someone moving fast relative to you has a different now slice. Their present includes events in your future and excludes events in your present. Einstein's relativity shows that simultaneity is relative. Events that seem simultaneous to you might be sequential to someone else, and both perspectives are equally valid. The present moment isn't a universal feature of reality. It's how your particular motion through space-time creates the illusion of a flowing present. Every fundamental law works equally well forward and backward, but the universe started in a very special low-entropy state, the Big Bang. As Feynman reflected in The Character of Physical Law, this initial condition set up the entropy gradient, creating your experience of temporal flow. Without it, there would be no meaningful distinction between past and future. You don't move through time, you are time, a pattern of increasing entropy that learned to observe itself. When you think, I wish I could reverse time, remember physics would allow it, but probability makes it vanishingly unlikely. Time's arrow doesn't point forward because of cosmic rules. It points where information becomes scrambled, where order becomes disorder, where possible becomes actual. You are riding an entropy wave from the impossible toward the inevitable. That journey is what you call time, and the illusion of now is just your brain's way of organizing that journey into manageable moments. Tomorrow, when you experience the present moment, remember, it's not present. It's not universal. It's your personal slice through the eternal block of space-time created by your motion through curved geometry and your brain's need to process increasing entropy. Now is nowhere. Everyone is everywhere. And that's far more beautiful than the illusion of a universal present moment.